Hi there, we meet again for another episode. We have been watching the episodes about Panjim, how Panjim has evolved from Fontainus. We have seen the excesses of different areas coming into Panjim. And now, from now on, we will see what is Panjim. And the best place in Panjim that we could start this off was from this picturesque place called as Dona Paula. This is a mystery place. Many of us may not know the actual history of what this place is. Just for your information, the original name of this place is called as Oddaver. Oddaver or Ordyover, half beaches. We can see a lot of coves over here. We have got Hawaii, we have got the Naushe, we have got so many, the Dona Paula Bay. And what happens to a person when he comes here is he heads straight to see that twin statue over there. Many times you have heard some myths, created myths, that these are the statues of one Mr. Dona and one Miss Dona and one Mr. Paulo. But that is wrong. These two statues have nothing to do with Dona Paula. Dona means Miss or Mrs. Paula was her name. This place is named after a lady called as Dona Paula Amaral y Menezes y Sotomayor. She is supposed to have been the daughter, the only daughter of a Portuguese viceroy who was placed at Sri Lanka, in Ceylon. And she is supposed to have been married to one of the three brothers whose surnames was Sotomayor and her husband's name was Antonio Sotomayor. So her name from Amaral Menezes, her name became Dona Paula Amaral Menezes y Sotomayor. What is the story about these two statues over here? There was a gentleman who came here to Goa somewhere in the 30s and 40s. His name was Mr. Robert Knox. So Mr. and Mrs. Robert Knox came here to Goa and he fell in love with this place. And in his will, he wrote that he would like to gift a piece of art to this land besides Bali in Indonesia. And somewhere around the 60s, his brother came over here in fulfillment of this will with Europe's one of the most famous sculptors. Her name was Yrsa von Leisner. Yrsa von Leisner. And she created this statue and she named it the Far East Traveler. What is this Far East Traveler? Today we know that the Europeans came from the West. Japan, all the areas down there, Singapore, Malaysia, they are in the Far East. Now if we look at that statue, there are two statues over there. One is of an elderly person whose hand is pointing to the east, and a child who is facing the west. And her concept was that we have come from the west and we should head to the east. And that is exactly what the Europeans had in mind where their trade was concerned. And here you can see him pointing to the west, telling his child about this message. This has nothing to do with Dona Paula. Dona Paula, this land is named after the lady Dona Paula, whose husband was a landowner and he owned the lands from here right up to our Raj Bhavan and halfway up to a place, one of Panjim's beautiful places, the Miramar Beach. So now you are aware what these two statues are, and if anybody tells you that that is Dona and this is Paulo, please correct him, because you will be doing Goa a big favor. Another aspect that you must see on this hillock is there is a structure right on top that is called as a pergola, and this is a signature architectural aspect that we see at different places in Panjim. So what we will do is we will go up there and we will see what you can see around from that point. Another aspect also, whenever you come here to Dona Paula, this is a haven for an angler or a hobby fisherman. And you can see a lot of people out there at the right time with their fishing rods catching fish. So you have two options to come over here, to relax, watch the scenery, and to come and do angling. So let us go and see what they are doing. When we went to the place called Dona Paula, I told you that it was named after the lady Dona Paula, who after she died was buried at the chapel of Our Lady of Good Voyage, or Nossa Senhora de Bom Viagem. She was buried over there. But where did she live? We have now come to the old road of Caranzale to Dona Paula, and where I am standing today was the place where existed the house of Antonio Sotomayor, or the husband of Dona Paula. It was very nicely built over here, and the Our Lady of Rosary Girls School was existing over here until they shifted to their new premise. And it was right by the road. It had an entry from the back, and on the pillar of that was the coat of arms of this family of Sotomayors. Now the entire house has been totally demolished, and in its place we see this beautiful church of Our Lady of Rosary Church in Caranzale. Their property starts from Caranzale right up to Raj Bhavan and the Dona Paula Hilllock. So you can make out how rich they were and what was the wealth they had. So here we are at the place where Dona Paula was married, but her maiden house is on the way to Old Goa in a place called San Pedro. Today you can see house with a board which says Solar Sotomayor. So next time when you are going to Old Goa, see the house of Dona Paula, her maiden house, and if you are going to Dona Paula from Panjim, along the way you see this big church, know that that was the house of Dona Paula's husband. When we come from the Dona Paula Jetty, up on top, we come to a crossroad. And at that crossroad, we see a statue that you can see right behind me over here. Now this statue is of Dr. João Hugo Eduardo de Siqueira, or whom we know as Dr. Jack Siqueira. Why is this statue over here? A very stately, life-size statue of a gentleman with a long beard. Now this gentleman is known as the father of the opinion poll of Goa. Opinion poll was a very, very important part of the history of this state. On 19th of December 1961, the Indian Armed Forces liberated Goa and freed the people of Goa, Daman and Diu from a foreign rule. Now, in 1961, till 1962, we had a military governor and we became part of India only in the mid 1962 when the Indian Parliament accepted Goa, Daman and Diu as a union territory. The then Prime Minister Jawaharlal Nehru promised the people of these three regions that they would remain a union territory for about 10 years. But a time came when some political parties wanted to merge Goa with Maharashtra and Daman and Diu with Gujarat. This merger was not liked by many people from these regions. What they wanted was they wanted to remain as a separate identity and have their own identity because the culture was a little different. In 1966, moved a motion that there should be an opinion poll. Let the people decide for themselves whether they want to merge with the two states, that is Maharashtra and Gujarat, and with or remain separately. The local party wanted to merge Goa with Maharashtra, while the United Goans and the other prominent people of Goa, Dr. Jack Sequeira, Uday Bemre and so many other people, they got together and said, no, the people must decide to stay separately on their own. But the major part of convincing the people was done by Dr. Sequeira, and for that we call him the father of the opinion poll. This historic opinion poll, the only of its kind in the whole of this country, happened on 16th January 1967. At that time in Goa, there were around 3,88,000 and a few other people, out of which 81% of the people voted. And with a margin of 34,021 votes, the people of Goa decided that they wish to remain as a union territory having their own identity. Now you will understand why we are having the statue of this gentleman over here. And by the way, for your information, many of you may not know this, Dr. Jack Sequeira was the first leader of opposition in a democratically elected government of Goa, Daman and Diu in the year 1964. At that time, the MGP, they won the elections and the chief minister was late Dayanand Balkrishna Bandodkar. So here, when you come to Dona Paula, please take time off to stop here and pay your respects to that man and his team who gave Goa a separate identity. When you are here also, notice that there is a huge building behind me which has got a globe on top of it. This is the National Institute of Oceanography. This is the premier institution in India which studies the oceans, and it is from here that they send their teams to the Antarctic continent. The Raj Bhavan, or the place or the palace where the governor stays, is straight behind over here at the end of the road at a very picturesque place. It is one of the most beautiful places situated exactly at the mouth of River Mandovi and the River Zuari. So when we come from Dona Paula to Marivel, see the fort wall over there, and then we take a left to go to the Raj Bhavan. On the way you see a board, and when we come down halfway we see this gate over here, which was the British cemetery. You see me sitting down here on the compound wall of the cemetery. You will agree that nobody wants to go inside over there before your time is up. But this particular place is a very, very important part of the heritage of Goa. They say that the original cemetery was in Sinkeri, but there is no trace of it now. So how did this British cemetery come about over here? In the year 1799, Captain William Clark with 1,000 soldiers, well-armed soldiers, landed at Aguada, and they stayed at Aguada, Reis Magus. There was a fort at Miramar called Fortress Gaspardias, which is extinct now, except the cannon which is there. And they stayed here at Rajbhavan. The reason was they had heard that the French were supposed to attack Goa. A big fleet had left France to attack. Later on it didn't happen, though earlier they had attacked over here. The British stayed here to assist the Portuguese against this attack for 13 years, almost 14 years, from 1799 till 1813. Now during this period, to cater to those who died over here or the deceased, they constructed this cemetery. This cemetery, as of today, has 47 identifiable graves and gravestones. However, there could have been more. But you must know one thing. This is something lesser known to all the people. The Portuguese did not take care of this graveyard. So also, they demolished all the structures that were built during the British time in Rajbhavan. That wall that you see behind, the maroon colored one, that is the Rajbhavan wall or the Cabo Palace wall. Then who looked after this cemetery over here? You will know that outside Goa, at that time, we are talking about 1700, 1800 beginning, the whole India belonged to the British. So it was left for the closest collectorate to look after this. And the closest collectorate to Goa was Belgaum. And it was the duty of this collector of Belgaum to pay somebody and see that they maintained this. For us, we may have heard of it. Many of you may not have seen it. That's why My Goem has come here with my cameraman on behalf of Prudent to bring this lesser known fact to you. A very prestigious event happened here in Goa. Many of us know it as Chogem. The full form of that is Commonwealth Head of Governments meeting in Goa. And at that time, the then Prime Minister of England, Mrs. Margaret Thatcher, she came here and she laid a wreath over here and paid her respects. We have a lot of British tourists coming over here. If this could be put on their itinerary, maybe they will like it. Maybe they will use this as part of a heritage and spread the word of our other important heritage sites to the people abroad. And by the way, just down this road is the fort wall of Dona Paula. Don't miss it. Since we came to Dona Paula, we thought that we will come very close by over here on the way to Rajbhavan. On the way to Rajbhavan, there is a place called as the British Cemetery, and there is a road that goes down over there. And when you walk down inside or you drive down inside, you have to be careful because the road is very narrow. We reached to a small fishing hamlet called as Mari Ware, where in English, in Konkani, means a beach, and Mari is a name. So there is every possibility that this part of the beach, which is in a fishing hamlet, is named after a very prominent fisherwoman by the name Mari, hence called Mari Ware. Now here there is one stretch of beach which is used by the fishing community, and they are so good that they can steer between these two rocks from the channel to come over here. Now, why have we come over here? Is because we see a huge wall that goes from the east to the west towards the Raj Bhavan, and this was made basically to protect from the enemies. So the enemy, when they came over here, they could only see a huge fortification wall with no door. But when we come very close by, we find that this entire wall has got a door which is on the side, which cannot be seen from the sea. And this is how it looks. What we will do is we will go above this door and see how they created a ramp where they could take a cannon and place it on top over there, so that any ship trying to come in from here, they could blast it out of the water. So here you are, when you come to Dona Paula, take just 5 minutes off to come off the road, come down here and see this, and the landmark is the British cemetery where we are heading after this place. After we entered in that gate, we have now come to the ramp which they used to roll up the cannon. So now I am going to go up to see where they kept the cannon and where it faced. Come. And from here, look at the fantastic view that you get of the bay. So this is the channel from which the ships could come in, enemy ships. So they put the cannon on this place, facing over there, so they could shoot them out of the water. Today, we are not using this fort for defensive purposes, but the people of this small village called as Marella have put it to adaptive use, where they are drying their nets and they are storing their nets when they go out to fish. So when you have the time, please do come, see this, interact with the local people over here. They love you. It is our duty to protect the heritage of this land, because when our children ask us what we did to save the heritage of this land of Goa, we will be in such a sad state that we will not even know where our heritage was. So make it a point to come here. It is right next to the British cemetery on the way to Raj Bhavan, and see this, and you can see how marvelous this view is. So from the British cemetery, we came down here to the Karale Bay or the Karale beach, where you can see the Raj Bhavan that is on a promontory, and you can see these beautiful birds that are flying around doing acrobatics. And this is the beach of Karale. All you have to do is, when you come down the slope of Dona Paula, there is a hotel called as Hotel Swimsea, and a road brings you down to this beach. This beach is as beautiful as all the other beaches that we have in Goa, but under the sands there is a wonderful heritage. Most of us may not even know about this. What we will do is we will speak to the owner of Swimsea who will tell us his memoirs of his childhood and what he was told, and you will be shocked. And what he is talking about is this beach and this part over here, which you see very green over here behind me. So let's meet Mr. Pinto of Swimsy Hotel and understand what this mystery and the unknown thing is about this particular beach. Let's head, follow me. So ladies and gentlemen, you saw how beautiful the Karale Bay and the beach at the end of Miramar Beach looks like. And I told you that once you come down from Dona Paula, there is a lovely place, the Hotel Swimsy, and a road that goes behind that. We took you down to this Karale. Now I remember very clearly that I was told a very nice story over here by the owner of Swimsy. So let us speak to Mr. Olivier Pinto, the owner of Swimsy, and find out. Olivier Bob, many years ago you had told me a beautiful story about the Karale beach, that it was not like this before, there was something else over there. Can you tell my viewers what was there?
Well, originally we had a house.
Okay.
Where the hotel is based.
Your ancestral house.
Ancestral house.
Okay.
Beyond that, towards the beach,
Okay.
there was another row of houses. It was all washed away.
It was washed away.
Yes. 60s.
Okay.
Some
type of tsunami type of stuff.
Tsunami or cyclone.
Okay.
At that time.
Okay.
It washed away the entire. There was a bishop house.
On the beach.
Holiday home.
On the beach there was a bishop house, a holiday home.
Then there were about 5-6 houses.
5-6 houses.
Residential.
Residential houses, okay.
There was a bandstand.
There was a bandstand.
Municipal band used to play in month of April, May.
Okay.
And that was the only place, the full bun
Yes.
from the Rosary Chapel to the beach.
Okay.
This bun was electrified.
During
Way
Portuguese
during
area.
Portuguese.
These houses that are there, these fishermen's houses which are there, were they always there or were they also part of this thing that got washed away?
No, they were there.
They were already there.
They were there.
So, in other words, what Mr. Pinto is telling us is if we take our families to the beach and start building sand castles, we may be able to find the foundations
It is
of...
there.
It is already there.
It is there. During monsoons,
Yes.
they get
Exposed.
They get exposed.
Wow. So, here it is. You don't have to go when the sun shines. You can also go during the monsoons when you can see the sand get washed away and you can see that.
Yes.
I think this is one of the most beautiful information that we have got of that area. Let me say thanks to Mr. Olivier Pinto for this. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you. Desai.
So if you have any information, please write to us on the email that you see over here. But please do watch and let us meet again for another episode about Panjim, and I'm sure that this is also a lesser known fact that you will come to know.